Tone Deaf is the journey of a theater nerd, bringing musicals into the life of their musically challenged spouse.
This show is rated explicit for mature content and strong language.
I'm sorry for me.
Spoilers are in every episode, so if you haven't seen the show we are reviewing, you can always check back in later with us.
We'll be here when you get back.
Welcome to Tone Deaf, a theater nerd's guide for their musically challenged spouse. I'm Kay, a musical theater nerd.
And I'm Warren. I'm musically challenged.
So the title of my notes for this episode makes me think, oh, sci-fi. But no, we're just on to the next Annie versus Annie matchup.
What do your notes say?
Annie, 1999.
Oh, you're just thinking like
yeah,
2001: A Space Odyssey
yeah,
vibes.
Yeah.
1999, an Annie musical. Words are hard this morning.
A space Annie.
I've had one cup of coffee, but my brain is not awake, so it will be interesting.
Well, because it's fireworks season in Utah, so, you know, our neighbors are setting off mortars every night.
You know, where we were living previously, the fireworks were not too obscene overall. Mm-hmm. Where we live now, people set off goddamn cannons until 1 a.m.
So fucking crazy. Why? We get it. Mormon pioneers discovered Utah at some point, or whatever the fuck. I don't even know.
Mormon pioneers discovered a land people were already living on.
Yeah, like,
Look at this completely uninhabited land. Excuse me? Completely uninhabited land. That joke is stolen from Eddie Izzard, but...
Stupid Pie and Beer Day.
I would love Pie and Beer Day.
That's the alternative holiday. Usually it's Pioneer Day, but Pie and Beer Day is for those of us who... don't have as warm, fuzzy feelings.
Yeah, and I'm not drinking currently, and so of course it makes me think. And then my brain is like, well, what's the alternative to pie and beer? It's like, well, I'd like whiskey and mozzarella sticks.
Seltzer.
So instead, I am drinking Perrier from France.
Bottled at the source.
I need to work on my French accent.
Anyway, so this week we are watching the Wonderful World of Disney version of Annie, which was released in 1999. And I have not seen this one since it came out, because it was released at a time that I was doing a lot of theater. Because I started doing theater when I was 8. This 1999, I would have been 11. Math is hard. Yes, 11. And so by this point, I'm doing like Shakespeare Festival and stuff. So I'm not having time to watch TV very often, or even watch like recorded stuff on VHS very often.
You were pretty much busy right up until you met me, and then I brought you down like a boat anchor, and I just held you in place.
Relaxation. What's this? Oh my god, there's a world. There's a world on TV. All these shows that I missed.
And then I broadened your horizons to the greater world of video games.
Oh my god, it's so wonderful. I love video games. I love these video games. Anyway, this is the Wonderful World of Disney version of Annie, which was released in 1999, and this will star Tone Deaf alumnus Victor Garber as Daddy War-ther-bucks, fresh off of his victory in the Jesus vs. Jesus matchup where he beat down Ted Neely.
Wait. So Jesus is...
Yes, Jesus is Daddy War-ther-bucks. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And we'll get into some very Jesus-y stuff he did during the filming of this.
Aww.
Like, I already love Victor Garber, but like what he does in response to something, I'm just like, God damn, you're a great dude. And so we also have Alan Cumming and Kristen Chenoweth as Rooster and Lily. An interesting thing, Kristen Chenoweth actually auditioned for Annie back when she was a kid, but because her southern accent was so heavy, she didn't get cast, which that bothers me but that's just me. I get mad about the whole, "Man, your accent is too heavy. We can't have that." Fuck you. Suspension of disbelief, god damn it.
Counterpoint, Kay. Fuck them.
Exactly. This is going to be your first look at Audra McDonald, who, she's someone that I want to do an episode on anyway, because I kind of idolize her a little bit. But she's a really amazing black actress. She had been born in Berlin while her parents were stationed over there, and she married Will Swenson, who's a Utah actor, like Utah-born actor, and I follow Audra on Twitter now. Well, not now, I've followed her for a while on Twitter, and she's just so fucking awesome. And it was one of those like, "Aw, you're awesome. This is great. My idolization is not something like, oh no, you're a bad person. Instead, it's like, yay, you're awesome." So that's, 3 for 3 for me, because, we've got idolizing Keir Delay, idolizing K.A. Applegate, and idolizing Audra McDonald, and all three are awesome people. So 3 for 3. I win.
Yay!
And let's see, we have a cameo from Andrea McArdle, who was the original Annie on Broadway. And then Alicia Morton is Annie in this one.
You said that just made me think of that off-Broadway song that you sung before.
I'm 30 years old tomorrow, and I haven't worked since I played Annie when I was 10.
I just hear, played the original Annie, and that just popped in my head.
And the version of Tomorrow that's used in this was actually played in Deadpool 2.
Really?
Yes.
Fantastic.
And then another actor that's in this that you will know is Ernie Sabella, who was the original Pumbaa from The Lion King.
Nice.
As in, like, the movie Lion King, not Broadway. He's going to be Mr. Bundles, and then... Yes.
You know what? I'm glad to know that racist Chinese laundry Mr. Bundles is still in this.
Yes. And perfectly cast as Miss Hannigan is Kathy Bates.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to...
Perfectly cast.
Yeah. Because I do like... I don't know much about Kathy Bates, but I do like what I've seen her in.
Mm-hmm.
And she does seem... She seems like a nice person. And so...
Yeah.
Playing
Yeah.
Miss Hannigan, I'm looking forward to her being a complete despicable bitch.
Yes. And fun fact, she and Victor Garber were both in Titanic.
She was in Titanic?
Yes, she was the unsinkable Molly Brown.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
I haven't seen Titanic since I saw it initially in theaters when it came out. That's how little I cared about that movie, is I saw it once. I mean, biggest grossing movie of all time. Yeah, because they re-released it again, and so it made a shit ton of money again, because James Cameron isn't rich enough.
Yeah.
And I've only seen that movie once.
I lived with somebody who loved that movie, and who...
Did they love the movie, or did they love Leonardo DiCaprio?
They loved Leonardo DiCaprio. Yeah. They loved the first half, and then I loved the part starting with the iceberg.
Because you would. You're like, here's where history comes in. Because everything before this is just Hollywood.
Yeah.
But here, we have some history.
I mean, I'm the person who reads NTSB crash logs, just every so often if I'm, having trouble falling asleep.
You're morbid, depraved, and fucked up, and I love you.
I love you. So... This version is directed by Rob Marshall, who also directed Into the Woods, the Disney version, Mary Poppins Returns, 9, and Chicago. So he's musical theater director, basically, or musical movie adaptation director. So he's got more experience than John Huston.
So I'm thinking, well, hello there, Latte.
Hello.
She comes running into the office all jingle, jingle, jingle.
Jingle, jingle.
I don't know if she's just doing a status report. She goes, are you guys talking to nobody again? This is neat. Now give me scritches, Dad.
Yes.
What was I going to say? So 9, help me out with that, because I know it's not what I'm thinking of in my head.
It is not what you're thinking of. It's another musical.
Oh,
so it is.
okay.
It is not the doll that is in the Afterman times.
Okay.
Apocalypse.
Number
That's
9.
the word.
That's what it is. Number 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because in my head I'm thinking, okay, musical, animated, apocalypse movie, musical. So I'm just like, well, that's some
No.
differences.
Different thing. This will also be the closest version of the movies to the stage version. It only removes a few songs and avoids putting in songs created for the 1982 version. Thank Garber.
And remember you talking about there's no Asp and Punjab in this?
Yeah, no Asp, no Punjab. It is pretty much the stage version, but in movie form. And it is, stuff is removed because this is made for TV. This wasn't a made for theatrical release or something, so it has to be within a time frame. You got to remember that commercials were being put in at places here because, again, TV. This version was done in direct response to the previous success for Wonderful World of Disney with Cinderella, which we're eventually going to watch because it's fucking awesome, and it will also be another head-to-head competition, and I think I know which one will win. But
am I really that predictable? Am I just really? I don't want to be predictable, but there's certain things that I like and certain things that I fucking despise.
I mean, one is Julie Andrews, which is awesome, but the other is Brandy and Whitney Houston and Whoopi Goldberg and...
I mean, yeah, fair. Damn.
It's kind of like I'm sitting here going, I think that the 1982 one has lost, but I kind of am thinking that I will be surprised if you don't pick the 2014 one out of all of these.
Oh, with Annie is what you're saying.
Yeah, with Annie.
You were talking about Cinderella and then you jumped back to
Yeah.
Annie.
But I don't know. You have a type with these musicals, which is fine. It is perfectly fine.
I mean, you and I will disagree on stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know. I like what I like, and
yeah, no, it's no judgment. It's just I think I know your type.
I mean, I don't want to confirm nor deny.
But I will say, however, that Disney being Disney, things weren't all sunshine and roses with this one. So remember how Audra McDonald is Grace, Victor Garber is War-ther-bucks, and Audra McDonald is Black. And remember how it's 1999 and it's Disney. So this is from Audra McDonald. We were filming Annie, and we shot the scene where Daddy War-ther-bucks gives Grace Farrell the ring, and it's lovely, and then we get word we have to come in on a Saturday to do reshoots. They took me aside, and it turns out that Disney might be a little uncomfortable, or the powers that be. I don't know if it was Disney or ABC, I don't know. There might be some issues with Daddy War-ther-bucks actually marrying Grace. I was devastated. It was one of those things where, you're starting to feel good. You're starting to feel like, oh, there's really change coming. Things are happening. Here I am playing this role and it's Annie, but nobody cares and it's wonderful.
Fuck that. Fuck that so hard.
And this is where Victor Garber goes full Jesus because he's having none of it. So he intentionally fucks up the reshoot.
Nice.
And director Rob Marshall also was like, oh, we're not going to do more than one take. I guess it sucks, Disney. you'll have to use the scene with Grace and War-ther-bucks getting hitched, so fuck yourself, Mouse.
Nice. So did they keep that in?
They kept it in because they intentionally fucked it up.
Oh my god. So good on the cast, man. Good on the cast being like, no, we want to have this in.
Yes.
And fuck you if it makes you uncomfortable, you racist piece of shit.
Yeah. That right there is called allyship. And it's why Victor Garber is the superior Jesus.
I agree.
I adore Victor Garber, so... And that just, like, rose him up even more on a pedestal.
Side note, though, it still really, really makes me laugh that he also was the douchebag attorney in Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Because I like that guy. I like him a lot. And then you see him in that role, and it's just, oh, how you've fallen, Jesus.
Sometimes you live long enough to become the villain.
If you don't die the hero, you live long enough to become the villain.
Yep. That's how the phrase goes. See, I've only had one cup of coffee, too, so I'm amazed that I'm powering through reading these notes and that it's not incomprehensible garbage.
And Latte's being really cute. For people who hear Latte in the background, Latte is scavenging through torn up boxes of hers looking for crumbs of cookies.
Yep. Because she ate all of her dinner, and so she...
She's like, God damn it, there's bound to be a cookie hidden somewhere around here. I will find it, and I will eat it.
She also just likes to tear up the Kleenex boxes, because those are the most fun.
So, funny side note, whenever we're done with a box of Kleenex in our office or whatever, and we're removing the plastic, Latte hears it, and she will just come immediately in and just wait for the box.
Yep.
She's like, I want the box.
I want to shred the box. So this was the original airing of This Wonderful World of Disney episode was on November 7th of 1999, and it becomes the second most viewed after the aforementioned Cinderella, which is what I'm saving our Wonderful World of Disney history lesson for, is with Cinderella, since, that's where it kind of was the most popular, was that one. Like, most popular in recent history.
Refresh my mind, when we did, what's it called? Damn it, I hate that I have to use the wrong title because I can't remember the correct one. Oh, I just barely remembered it. Once Upon a Mattress. That was also Wonderful World of Disney, right?
Yes, that was.
Okay.
But not nearly as popular as Annie and Cinderella. So, there's that. But with all that being said, shall we hop in and watch Annie on the Mouse's streaming service?
Yes, let's watch Annie. Let's watch what was potentially the Mouse's uncomfortable black and white mixing going on.
Yeah,
in front of children of all things, Kay.
I sit here and I'm just like, wow, Disney. Like, I know that you have a racist track record, but Jesus Christ. or ABC, but honestly, they're the same thing because Disney owns ABC, so. And I think at the time they did too. Like, I would have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that by 99, Disney, if they didn't fully own it, they partly owned it.
They had like they had a share in it.
Yeah, because, I mean, Disney still has a racism issue, but man, it used to be bad. Like...
No, Disney likes to pretend that they're more progressive than they really are.
Yeah, they ain't progressive. They put on a front.
People working
at Disney are, but the company? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
But anyway.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's hop in and party like it's 1999. Party like it's Annie 1999.
Because in 1999, remember, the world was going to end.
So... It didn't end, thanks to people like my mom.
Well, it wouldn't have ended anyway.
No,
shit would have been fucked up. But
yeah, people like my mom did a lot of work, and so whenever I see people going, why did people make such a big deal? It's like, it didn't happen, so you can thank my mom.
Because people worked very hard.
People worked very hard to make things compliant.
Go watch the movie Office Space, because they will talk about that, the 2000 changeover.
Yeah, no, there was a lot of work done, and I remember my mom working really long hours to make sure that everything was compliant for credit unions. So, you know, I get a little bitter. I get a little bitter when people poo-poo all of the stuff with Y2K.
But what did your mom do to prevent planes from just falling out of the sky?
Well, okay, she didn't work on that side of things, but you've got money now.
Well, I mean...
Your credit union still exists.
Well, I mean, I have money go into my checking account, and then it goes into the bill pay account. So I get to see it come in and then go.
But your financial institution works, so you can thank Mama K.
I get to wave at it as it passes me by. Bye, money. Oh, capitalism. Ooh, that's a good segue. Let's go watch a titan of capitalism adopt a victim of capitalism.
Let's go. Hey, Warren.
Hey, Kay.
Do you know what time it is?
Is it time to thank our Patreon sponsors?
It is!
Woo! We would like to thank our stage crew sponsors, Jeff, Reagan, and Jasmine Wu.
And our producer circle sponsors, Jesse, BeAnArtsHero, and Taylor Brandt.
Thank you all so much for your continued support of our show.
We truly appreciate it.
Feeling better for me is top priority, mentally, physically, and emotionally. They all work together. Talking about the things that we all may experience, but just don't quite know how to say, really opens up some new dialogue and perspective. That's the goal here. Sometimes you gotta see yourself a little bit better and leave yourself alone because there are other people who see you for exactly who you are. And that's all good. We stay elevated here. But even Dr. Jekyll had a dark side. I mean, who doesn't love a good story to make the hairs on their arms stand up? I started to walk a little faster, just figuring if it was probably someone trying to scare me. It was like a hazing, but this didn't feel right. Night Owl is the hangout for those horror fans looking for a little bump in the night. Monday motivation, Friday frights. We like balance here, and the Bird Brain Podcast has it all. Take flight. Sleep tight.
And now, the lights are going down and the music's starting back up, so let's head back to the second act of our show. So, how does this stack up to what we saw last week? That film adaptation that was bizarre as fuck compared to this.
So, we might have some conflicting opinions a bit, because this, God, it sounds really weird.
Mm-hmm.
I think, damn it, it's really hard, because there were aspects of this one that, hands down, I liked way better, but there were aspects of the other one that I liked better.
Yeah.
Like, for me, the biggest thing I did not like about the 1982 one is just the racist portrayal of Asp and Punjab, as well as the stupid movie scene that really wasn't good.
Yeah.
Those three scenes are what bothered me the most out of that version. But other than that, I liked it. I thought it was pretty decent overall. This one is shorter.
Yes.
So the pacing on it is definitely a tiny bit rushed.
Yeah, because they have to for TV.
Yeah, they have to. But that also kind of serves to the show's detriment in the last act. It is super rushed.
Yeah.
And granted, in the other version, it's drawn out. So it's it's not optimal in either
They
respect.
haven't struck a balance.
Yeah, there is no balance in either respect. But I'll get into it with my notes. But for me, this version, the 1999 version, kind of falls apart towards the end.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because I haven't seen the 2014 version since we saw it together years ago. And I'm sitting here going, because I didn't know what to expect from the other two, but I'm just kind of going, well, I gotta see that one again. But right now, neither one of these two
are as good.
Are sitting in an optimum spot,
Interesting.
They're both kind of middle ground for me for different reasons. For different reasons, they're both middle ground.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
That's an interesting. I'm curious to see now.
We'll talk about it. So, Annie, 1999, Wonderful World of Disney. So this version opens up with paintings and stuff of 1930s New York, instead of pretending that 1980s New York is really 1930s New York. So, good job, Disney. Eventually, the paintings become a real set, and we see the streets of 1930s New York and a red-headed girl looking out onto the street, as a girl starts crying out, "Mommy! Daddy! Mommy! Daddy!" And so Mommy, Daddy, Annie comes over to comfort the kid, as the others are beating up on the poor girl. Annie comes to the girl's defense and beats off the others. Phrasing? Anyways, the other kids are mocking the crying girl because we don't have mommies and daddies, and we never will. And then Annie talks about how, actually, she does have parents. They left this note. And the other jerky girls start to mock Annie as she's reading the note her parents left, because they've heard it so many times by now. Annie politely asks the jerky girls if they want to keep their teeth, sleep with their teeth inside their mouth or outside, and tells them to go get some sleep before Hannigan wakes up from her drunken stupor to assault them. Little, I kind of jumped the gun on that one. Annie sings the sad girl to sleep with the Maybe song, and afterwards Annie is like, you know what, fuck this, and grabs her few meager belongings and decides to leave the orphanage and go look for her parents. Annie stealths away into the night and does her best impression of a Skyrim lock-picking minigame, but is busted by the town guard, orphan guard, Miss Hannigan. And Annie Annie prepares for her beating, but Hannigan is like, "Have I ever hit any of you?" And Annie is like, "No, but you've threatened it, which is worse." And I might have an unpopular opinion here, but I would rather be threatened with violence than actually have violence. So I don't know if this is Disney being Disney, but anyways. Hannigan tells Annie that the orphanage might suck, but the world out there blows, and she's doing her a favor by keeping her here, and calls Annie a rotten orphan. After bringing her back to the orphan room, she's like, "Welcome back, Annie, who tried to escape. You're all being punished with chores. Clean, you dirty, dirty orphans." And we get the Hard Knock Life song, and it fucking slaps in this version.
Doesn't it? It's so much better.
It is really good.
Yeah. That shit slaps.
It is really good in this version. I mean, not that it wasn't okay in the other version, but this version is just noticeably more just.
Yeah. No, it really. And I feel like the 1982 version tends to stretch out songs that don't need to be stretched out. This one, they pretty much play this song straight for how it is on stage, which, again, is why on stage this show is really fucking popular, because, this song slaps on stage, too. It's really good. It's why I really wish COVID cases were a little bit lower so I felt safe going into a theater. But, yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
It really is. So anyways, Mr. Bundles comes in, and he's not an Asian. He's also He also has it bad for Hannigan and wants to take her out, instead of Hannigan throwing herself at Bundles for a role in the dirty laundry truck. Anyways, Bundles delivers the orphans their clean sheets for the month and leaves with the dirty laundry. The kids fall into line and Hannigan takes roll call, I guess, but then is like, "Where's Annie?" And the kids are all giggling, being like, "Ha ha 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 ha! Mr. Bundles rolled Annie out in the laundry, ha 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 ha!" And Hannigan runs out after Bundles, yelling about how she could lose her license. "Bundles, come back! Annie, you shit!"
And I like how Kathy Bates does Miss Hannigan better.
We might have some disagreements.
Well, so my reasoning is just because with her, and maybe it's more just the writing is better, because the 82 one, they kind of flanderize Miss Hannigan a little bit, where they go, "Oh, she's a drunk, oh, she's throwing herself on people." They make her very unrealistic as a villain. Whereas with this, she has these moments where she's like, her motivation is, I will lose my license, not, I just want to beat up kids. It's, I got this job that I really hate, but it's the Great Depression, and this is work. Work is work. She's a little bit more easy to go, okay, I can see why you're the way you are in this version. It's sort of a cool motive, still child abuse, but in the other one, they just have her be a bit too over the top. I think Kathy Bates brings it in a little bit, and the writing for Kathy Bates to work with does the same thing, where you do get these moments where she brings it down a little bit. She isn't always up here like Carol Burnett was, where Carol Burnett was over the top the entire time, never really had any quiet moments as Miss Hannigan. And Little Girls, I actually like better with Kathy Bates than I do with Carol Burnett, because I look at Miss Hannigan in the 82 one and I see the kid's idea of a bad guy. I look at Kathy Bates' version and I can see why this woman is the way she is, and I don't know, she felt more real in this version than Miss Hannigan in the other one.
That's very fair. That's very fair, and I do agree with that. I do agree with that. She's not a caricature.
Yeah, she's not a caricature. And that's kind of the case with the stage show, is that all of the characters are well-rounded to where it's like, okay, you get their motivations, you understand why they're the way they are, so on and so forth. Whereas with the 82 version, because realizing that it was John Huston who directed, and he never directed a musical before or after that, I'm kind of like, okay, I can see where where the issues come from. Whereas with this one, the directing is done by somebody who does musicals, who has experience doing musical theater and doing musical direction. It's just something that I think gives this one a little bit of a leg up, is that characters that get improved very well for me.
And see, I think my perspective is that I feel like because it's being done by Disney, there's a bit of an overcorrection. There's a bit of a over-sanitizing.
There is, to an extent, but at the same time,
which I have an odd point about later, how they over-sanitize a lot of it, except when it comes to, like, and I'll talk about it later with an aspect, but like with Hannigan, I absolutely agree with you. This Hannigan is a more believable character that occupies in this universe. She seems more real. You can see her as an actual person, not a caricature, which Carol Burnett's one really was a caricature. Like, she did a great job, and I think that it was...
She did.
I think it was maybe her over-the-top portrayal of that character even though she's a despicable character, I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Hannigan, I don't know, Hannigan is like is a more quiet, reserved malice kind of
and
thing.
it's worse.
And it's I don't know, it's different. Like I kind of wish that, and then again, I guess the issue that I'm having with this version, the 1991 is
99.
Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you. 99 is the, you know, because we had the one extreme with the 1982 one, and then I feel like we have the other extreme with the 1999. There's no middle ground to occupy it. It's either Hannigan is either a drunken cock-hungry whore who throws herself at every man she encounters and is consistently, perpetually drunk, or Hannigan, we only ever see her pull out a bottle of alcohol once, and she, rather, when a guy is hitting on her, she's just like, man, I'm saving myself for War-bucks, kind of thing. She's more prudish and standoffish, and yeah, I don't know, because
she is more of an adult fear for me, because the Hannigan of 82 is kid fear. It is, but Hannigan of 99 is adult fear, because as a kid you're kind of like, well, I don't get that, and then as an adult it's like, oh no, I would rather deal with the Hannigan that's screaming and drunk and stuff, because she shows herself to be very ineffective. Whereas this Hannigan, I'm like, she's willing to have Annie get killed by the end.
Yeah, which I'll bring about. Yeah, so it's I don't know.
It's a quiet evil, and that's a scarier evil.
It's just it's a weird kind of imbalance.
And that's probably Kathy Bates acting too, because she's so good at that.
I do have a hard time not seeing her as Kathy Bates from Misery.
Yeah.
You know, I do still kind of, I'm like, when's she gonna pull out the sledgehammer, you know?
Yeah, and so it does kind of add a level. If you've seen that, then as an adult you're just like, oh. Or she is gonna tell you that you should have bought a squirrel.
From Rat Race. Yeah. So yeah, I absolutely get where you're coming from, and that does change my perspective a bit. It's fair.
It's like, and it's so funny because all of the people in this are like in the main cast are stage actors, and usually you have a hard time with, and I know this from my own experience. Stage acting is so different from film acting. Usually it's hard to tone down that film acting, or tone down that stage acting to film acting. Everybody in this did it very well. And it's kind of interesting that Carol Burnett never turned hers down. Kathy Bates turned hers down. Both of them were stage actors first.
That's fair.
And so it's interesting to see that difference.
It's good. Yeah, good observation there, because that's something that, I do.
It's because I have trouble toning down sometimes for film.
Well, and you have that perspective too, because you've done both.
Yeah, I've directed.
You're a film
both
major.
as well.
You're a film major, but you've worked in theater, and we've talked about it before, just with film adaptations and stuff like that. Just because the camera's closer, and therefore the audience is closer, it's easier to have those quiet moments, because you can still convey emotion, but with stage you can't, because there's people way in the back.
Yeah, and they do a good job with the balance, for me at least in this one, with the quiet moments, and that may just be that's the strength of the director, the writer, and the actors, are those quiet moments, because Audra McDonald, you haven't seen, because I can't find it anywhere, but she was the original Sarah in Ragtime. And she is so good at quiet moments. In fact, I wish I could find the version of her in the musical that will not be named, because that might change our perspective of that musical.
No, never.
Because she plays the lead in it.
I don't give a shit. I don't... Carousel can burn in hell. And that rhymes, because it should. Okay, anyways. So as Hannigan runs out of the building, the orphans start a pillow fight, and the feathers break out and they fly around, leading to a transition shot of snow falling outside. And we see Annie walking the streets, asking strangers if they've seen her parents. Silly orphan. Anyways, Annie goes to the corner corn vendor. That's harder to say than I thought it would be. And is like,
Boy, that sure does smell good. I sure wish I had a nickel so I could eat.
and the vendor is like, yeah, people in hell want ice water and kids in orphanages want parents. The vendor drops a nickel handed to him by a customer, and Annie takes that moment to pull in Aladdin and steals a piece of corn and bolts. Annie finds a nice quiet spot to eat her corn, but then she sees a dog being arrested by the dog police, and the dog escapes and steals Annie's stolen corn. And she's like,
Hey, easy come, easy go.
and then the dog lays down in Annie's lap, and Annie's like,
What's wrong? You can't eat stolen corn, but you can slobber all over it so I can't eat it? Or are you sad because you're also looking for your parents?
and then the song goes in, and then Annie goes into singing the Tomorrow song to the dog. As the street rat duo are getting ready to leave, a cop stops them and is like, Hey, I haven't seen yez around here's with your doggies before. I'ma turn that mutt in for the internal slumbers. And Annie does this whole,
No, that's my dog, but you haven't seen me because I don't get out very often. And the dog's name is Sandy. That's right, on account of his sandy coat. Come here, Sandy. Come on, doggy.
and the cop is like, Outright, make sure you gets that dog's a collar and a leash, or that dog is gonna be sleepins with the fishes. Capiche? Because the cop is now a mobster, I've decided.
I mean,
what are police other than taxpayer-funded organized crime? Anyways, a bit later. It's a bit later now, and it's nighttime, and the cops come to harass some street millionaires who are holding a meeting outside around a barrel fire because their mansions are under renovations. Anyways, the cops are like, Hey, move it, so we're gonna be keeping the peace all over yous with these peacekeeping sticks.
I do wish that this could have had the song that's in this part on Broadway that's, I don't know, like, there are songs that I feel I miss in this, but I understand that it had to be an hour and a half because TV. But dear God, I mean, we had all of Peter Pan, and that was for TV. Granted, that was TV in the 50s, but still, like, come on, stop abridging musicals. Give us the whole damn thing.
Well, remember, if modern day entertainment and future perceptions of entertainment have taught us anything, it's that the commercial to entertainment pipeline is going to eventually shrink to the point where it's mostly commercials with very little entertainment, and then we're just going to be watching commercials for our entertainment.
We'll start getting it where in the middle of a musical they'll be like, you know, I really like this Perrier. It's crisp,
boy.
It's refreshing, it's straight from the source.
All this.
Perrier since 1863. It's been delightful. Let's sing a song about Perrier.
Oh.
It'll be right back to the Gracie Allen show.
Oh, honey, I gotta let me, the white man, teach you how to do a proper ad read.
Jesus.
Oh, man. All this talking about our podcast sure is making my throat dry. Oh, I'm so glad I have this cold, refreshing Perrier from the source. French story since 1863. Just one sip. So cold and refreshing, the way that it words cannot truly describe. Thanks, Perrier.
We need to watch the George Burns and Gracie Allen show so that you can see just how close you were to the ad pivots that you used to have to do.
Oh, man.
I remember watching it just being like, holy shit, this would have made me so mad back in the day.
Man, when I'm trying to be a chode, it turns out that other people have been chodes professionally.
Oh, back in the 50s, like, that was how commercials were. That was how they were. It's horrible. Back to our regularly scheduled ranting.
So yes, the state-sanctioned mobsters are telling the street millionaires to get out of here because they're loitering, and they're going to peacekeep all over their faces with their peacekeeping sticks. And then where was it? Oh yeah. And as the raggedy millionaires are leaving, the cop from earlier spots the girl and her dog from earlier and is like, "Hey, where's his license?" and gives chase. Annie and Sandy split up, so the cops have to as well. And the cop eventually catches Annie and takes her right back to loving Hannigan, who doesn't attempt to blow the officer right in front of the orphanage, because Disney. But instead, the cop is like, "If you'd see this here dog, give me a call so we can kills it." Hannigan takes Annie back in and locks her in her room and is like, "You stay here while I think about your punishment." And then she leaves and gets minorly assaulted by the miners. Just like in the 1982 version. Hannigan then goes to her bedroom and does the little girls song. And in this version, I think it is missing Hannigan being a drunkard, but I get it because Disney, I guess. I don't know. There are times that I do kind of feel like this version could do a little bit more with Hannigan, like at nighttime or whatever, like being a little bit more debaucherous to an extent. Like I said, I feel like there's not a good middle ground because it's Disney. They swing to the made for TV and we're Disney and we don't do anything naughty except talk about murdering children.
There is more of a middle ground when someone does it on stage for sure. Because I have not seen a stage version where they go completely to the level of Carol Burnett, but I also generally see it a little bit more than Kathy Bates. But
less sanitized than Kathy Bates.
Yeah, but the way that she acts it, you still are going, this woman should not be in charge of children.
Yeah, I don't want my criticism to be taken as criticism of Kathy Bates' performance.
Yeah, no, she does what she could.
She does a great job, and if anything, it's criticism of Disney, because I sure do love criticizing Disney.
Yeah, they deserve it for what they tried to do with this one.
But after the Little Girls song, Hannigan decides that Annie's punishment is to clean this whole dump with a dirty toothbrush. But before Annie can get to work, Grace Farrell comes in to do the whole, "Hi, I'm the assistant of the richest man in the world who wants to show an orphan the good life for a couple of weeks before dumping them back into the wilds of New York. I think I'll take this one. Thank you, bye." And since Grace is a busy woman, she settles on the first orphan she sees and is like, "This one, I'll take this one, bye." And this version, I think, does a better job in that scene than the other one, because the other one,
it draws it out.
It's like like we've talked about, the 1982 version draws out too much where it doesn't need to, and then this version, because of time constraints, condenses too much.
And this scene I feel is okay in this version. But also, I'm just too busy staring at Audra McDonald, just going, "You are so pretty."
She's a very pretty black lady.
So,
Annie gets to War-ther-bucks.
You said pretty twice. Just saying.
Oh yeah, what was I going to say with this one? That's not important. Anyways, Annie gets to the War-ther-bucks manor and does the whole, "I think I'll clean the floors before the windows." And Grace does the whole, No. You're here to have a taste of the good life so that when you go back to your dirt pile, you'll be even more depressed knowing that you'll never ever reach these heights ever again." And then we get the, "This mansion is so freaking sweet," complete with dancing maids and servants. The song ends with Annie bumping into Lex Luthor. I mean, Jesus Luthor. I mean, Jesus War-ther-bucks. I mean, Lex War-ther-bucks. Anyways, he's pretty good at having laser eyes and looking at Annie with complete, I don't know, murder, disregard. Just get this thing away from me. And this, I don't know, this might be an unpopular opinion. I really liked the War-ther-bucks of the 1982 version.
Mm-hmm.
I for one, I think he looked better bald. I have a hard time...
this is a bald cap on Victor Garber.
I have a hard time with Victor Garber bald. He just doesn't look right.
Mm-hmm.
He looks way too much like he's trying to be Lex Luthor in a Superman made-for-TV movie or something. He looks like he's trying to be a villain. He doesn't look like he just is bald because time... time and genetics. And I liked the other Daddy War-ther-bucks because he had a very powerful voice when he did his thing. Just take it away. Just he had the grandeur of a man who felt like he owned the world and had all this power, whereas this War-ther-bucks is much more soft-spoken. He seems more like a contemporary businessman rather than like a businessman of the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And, that criticism might be completely just, I don't know. It's, again, uncultured swine. This is my personal preference. I understand that I am wrong 90% of the time when it comes to musicals, but it's just my opinion.
I will say that, I do miss the bombastic moments of Albert Finney's War-ther-bucks, but I do like when Victor Garber does a quiet moment. He does quiet moments so well.
Victor Garber is a fan. It's another situation. It's just like with Kathy Bates. Fantastic actors. So my criticism is not necessarily of anything that they're doing wrong. It's just I don't know. In my opinion, it's just kind of the right tool for the right job kind of situation. And I know you said the name of the guy from
Albert Finney.
Thank you, Albert Finney, because he's so loud and authoritative. When he has his quiet moments, it is a very different shift. Whereas when we first get God damn it,
Victor Garber.
You say people's names, and then I'll say their name, and then it immediately goes out of my head. But Victor Garber, because when we see him, his first introduction, he isn't particularly loud, he isn't particularly quiet, he's just kind of that normal.
He's cold.
He's cold, yes, that's excellent. He's cold. And, very good, very good. He's extremely... Okay,
that's where his shift is.
That's the difference between the two. We have one who is loud that learns to be quiet, and we have one that is cold that learns to be warm.
Yeah.
So it's just an entirely different take on the War-ther-bucks character. So
and his switch, I feel, and again, it's probably because of the song that the switch happens in. In the previous, in the 82 version, I feel like the switch is kind of awkward at times.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, it's you see the chips fall away. Like, the first chip falls away with the whole, I'm gonna watch... Well, first, the first chip falls away with Grace being like, your image. And he's just, that's right, okay. And you can kind of see... He still has that wall up, and then you have her watching him, and a little bit of a chip falls off, but not very much. And then you get the, I've never been through New York City. And that's where you start getting, he starts to forget that crafted persona. And then as you have the whole NYC number, because that number is the number that's supposed to be this is where Daddy War-ther-bucks has his change. Is because he's enjoying his time with this little girl and with his assistant. And in the 82 movie, they do it weird. And I think part of it is because they didn't want to do the Broadway thing. They wanted to take a little girl to a romance movie that's all tragedy, which is weird as fuck.
They also... The other 1982 version also has the Bolshevik assassination attack and the Punjab levitating thing.
Yeah.
So that one,
they
with that one, I felt like they at least showed a couple different days Where with this one, to me, it feels like it's like all in one day. It feels, and again, it's the time constraint thing. It feels like it's rushed. It doesn't feel like it shows her watching him work, and then the next day watching him work, and like it doesn't convey a sufficient passage of time to chip away at this guy's emotional walls so that he can feel for this child. Where I feel like the other version did show that time, however, that War-bucks only cared because Grace cared.
Yeah.
So his thing is, it's
not him learning to care. It's him caring because Grace cares.
Yeah, and
whereas
then he starts to care.
This one, he starts to care all on his own.
He starts to care all on his own, but I just feel like that it happens really quickly.
Yeah, which fits with the comic, but...
yeah, fair. And
but
I mean...
I also am trying to remember how much time passes in the stage version. Because, like I said, this is closer to the stage version than the 82 one is. And I can't remember, because they also have him kind of being like very, okay, you can watch me work for a few minutes, but then get out.
Then get the fuck out.
And she's just staying, and so...
But I'd really like to keep watching you work.
Yeah, and so that's kind of, I think, their way of trying to balance that. They also give Annie actually more time with War-bucks in this than they do in the original, or in the 82, because in the 82 she's only there for a week. That's the time period that
That's right,
she
he
is
does
allowed.
say in this one for the holidays.
Yeah, this one it's 2 weeks.
Did they say 2 weeks?
They say 2 weeks.
Okay,
so
I missed that part, because I didn't.
Yeah, so they don't show it as much because time constraints, but they do establish that she's going to be with him longer, which I'm kind of like, that is how you have foster failures. That is how you end up with, okay, yeah, you're mine now.
Yeah.
Just like having a foster parrot that you're going, oh, I'm just going to be fostering you, and now you're mine.
Mm-hmm. You heard it here. Parrots are like kids.
Parrots are like kids. That's why you shouldn't enter into having one lightly, because you've got a child for 80 years.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and like I said, with these two versions, they're very different. And when you're talking about the stage version, my criticisms might also be with just this show and the way that they portray certain things. It may not necessarily be between the two versions. It may be that I have criticisms with Annie, the show.
In general. And that could be it, because... there are things that are kind of a constant through all of these, and then there are things that they do differently. Some are choices in the actor, like, again, Albert Finney is loud and then quiet, whereas Victor Garber is cold then warm. Grace is just always good. Just, I don't know, always good in the shows. The Annie in this is a lot more sweet.
She is. She's not a street brawler.
No, she is just this sweet kid that... Because I think that having the soft moments with her and Sandy were better for me than the moments with her and Sandy.
Oh, they were horrible to the dog in the other one.
In the 82 one, I'm just like, wow, I don't fucking care about this kid right now.
Yeah, because there's...
Fuck you, you fucking dog.
Yeah,
you
whereas
fucking suck.
This one, she's like, oh, you took my corn. Well, that's okay.
You also don't have parents, huh?
Yeah.
But, and I am thinking about Victor's performance in this one, and because he is such a very good actor, that when he has those warm moments, you believe him. Mm-hmm. You see it in him. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, they're both good for aspects are both good for different reasons. And okay. So yes.
Speaking of the NYC number and all that.
So Annie has just met Jesus War-bucks, the richest. Yeah. and he's being cold towards Annie. Annie follows War-bucks into his office where he's looking at papers and doing 1930s richest person in the world stuff. The scene changes to War-bucks on the phone with the president, and due to Annie's angel and due to Annie being his angel on his shoulder, he invites the president to Christmas dinner at his place because the president's like, "Oh, I'll be in New York anyway." Mm-hmm. It then becomes discussed that Annie has never seen New York because of being cooped up at the orphanage. So War-bucks and Grace go out on the town and, like, have ice cream and buy Annie a big teddy bear and shine shoes. And we see a Broadway show and stuff. And then in the Broadway show, Kay points out that the original Annie who was on Broadway is in this version playing a different character from a different show. Which is cool to see. And boy, can she sing.
Yep. And I love the little touch that they have with Annie shining the shoe shiner's shoes.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch, because you have Grace and War-bucks getting their shoes shined, and then you have the shoe shiner kid getting his shoes shined by Annie. And it was just a really cute touch.
Yeah, and that one, I will say one thing, too, that this sparked a memory. They do rush some stuff because the cabinet scene from the movie is in the stage play where they go
to Washington.
Yeah, they go to Washington. They sing Tomorrow with FDR, all of that. That is in the stage play, but because of time, they had to cut that scene, which is too bad because I like that scene.
I do like that scene too, actually.
Yeah.
So, anyways, after the NYC song and they're in the carriage, Annie sees Sandy and is like,
"Please, oh please, can we keep Sandy? They're my very bestest friend ever."
And Grace is like, "Well, you did always want a dog, sir." And War-bucks is like, sure." And then War-bucks sings to Annie, and it's very cute. And we see Annie get tucked in. And this is the part you're talking about where War-bucks is having that transition. Going from cold to warm.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels rushed.
It is rushed.
I did really like in the other version where it shows them, you know, it sounds creepy of me to say, where it shows them undressing Annie and tucking her in. That part I thought was really cute, you know, and War-bucks commenting with Grace, like, "How did you know how to do that? Tuck her in," and stuff. I thought that stuff was cute, and I liked that. But yes, after Grace leaves the next day, after Annie has her night on the town, the next day, Hannigan is pissed because Grace came in to tell her that War-bucks wants to adopt that little street rat Annie. Hannigan excuses herself to go scream her head off in rage and comes back to be like, "Where were we?" After Grace leaves the orphanage, we see Rooster and Hotel outside and heading in to bug Hannigan for money. But Hannigan is broke too, and so the siblings and Hotel sing about their poor dead mother who's roasting on an open fire in hell, and they ask how they're going to get to Easy Street. Turns out, Annie is the key to Easy Street via lying about her parents and shit. Fuck these people. These people proceed to go and dance in the street, but it's not Easy Street. And the whole time they're singing, "We're gonna be on Easy Street." And yeah.
And they I don't know, like I really like Carol Burnett, Bernadette Peters, and Tim Curry, but this version, I think it's because it wasn't so drawn out, like the 82 version where they decided, okay, we're gonna have this number go on for like 3 minutes. This one, it's like, okay, we know this song, you're gonna go through this song, we're not gonna drag it out, it's gonna all keep it the same, like, energy throughout it. And the 82 one, the energy's all over the place.
It really is all over the place. You're absolutely right about that, and the energy is more consistent and focused in this version.
In this song, at least.
In this song, at least. But and again, the actors are great in both versions. But I mean, I have a hard time not picking Bernadette Peters.
I know, right? So you feel horrible not picking her.
Well, I mean, no, that's the thing is, like, it's so conflicting because the the rooster in this version does a great job. So does Hotel. But then they make some changes later on that I don't
later
like.
on the changes are meh.
Yeah, and I liked Bernadette Peters' Hotel better.
Yeah.
Just
hers is better than Kristen Chenoweth's.
Because Kristen Chenoweth is such an airhead, and granted, Bernadette Peters is an airhead too, but this other one is like an airhead's airhead.
Yeah, Kristen Chenoweth plays an airhead really, really well.
Boy, does she!
Really well, but she would be the Flanderization in this one.
Whereas excellent.
Bernadette
point.
Peters. Lily St. Regis is a little bit more interesting.
Hers is a little bit more balanced.
But at the same time, the rooster in that one is very fucking over the top because he's matching Hannigan, who's also over the top.
And it's also Tim Curry.
Yeah, who cannot dial it back.
Tim Curry, and that's the thing. I love Tim Curry. I love Tim Curry. Tim Curry is my man. But yeah, he doesn't necessarily do the subtle all that time.
No.
But Tim Curry is really good in his rooster at playing a fucking sleazebag.
Yes.
That's the thing, because he's got, the smirk and everything. The way he plays rooster, it's just... Mwah,
Alan Cummings has similar similar to Kathy Bates, I feel like I think that his matches Kathy Bates's Hannigan to where you can see that these two have done this shit before.
You are absolutely right. And Tim Curry's rooster, when he has his evil moments, it's more explosive. Get here, you little rah! It's more outward explosive. Whereas with Alan Cummings' rooster, it is much more of premeditated.
Yeah.
He is evil, and he's planning to be evil.
Yeah.
It's not like in the 82 version where they're like, well, we're gonna get the money, and then, I guess we'll figure it out as we go. The important part is to get the money.
Yeah.
But then in the 1999 version, it's like, yeah, we're gonna get the money, and then kill the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it's oh.
Yeah. He does, and that's where I feel... That's where I kind of go with the adult fear versus child fear in them. Because Lily St. Regis is harmless in this version.
Because she's fucking dumb.
Because she's dumb. And she ends up being the reason that everything fails.
Yeah.
Whereas in the other version, she is on the same playing field. They underestimate her. That's what you feel, is that they underestimate her. Whereas with this one... No, they don't have anything to underestimate. And so the balance, if they took Bernadette Peters, Lily St. Regis, and put her in with this trio, Annie would be fucking dead.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Annie would be sleeping with the fishes.
Yeah, whereas Kristen Chenoweth fits in more with the two over-the-top Hannigan and Rooster, and hers is just airhead, but, they would have still been able to...
You're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
They needed to trade their lilies.
Yep. That's an excellent analysis, and I think that's perfectly accurate.
But I like the singing in this one better just because they hit the harmonies a little bit better in the song. It's a 3-part harmony, damn it.
The singing in this one. Yeah, the singing in this one for the Easy Street song is absolutely better. I'm not gonna... No.
Sing your 3-part harmonies correct, damn it.
So after the Easy Street song, back at War-Bucks Manor, Grace brings him his proposal necklace for Annie, and War-Bucks tries to propose to be Annie's daddy. But Annie is like,
"You're not my real dad. My real dad has the other half of this necklace."
And War-Bucks is like, "Well, I take rejection surprisingly well, and I'm going to use my vast amount of power and money to help you find your parents." And
which is the same in the
other one. Which is the same. Yeah. It's just a difference of the way they do it because and it's then again it is the difference of the character because 1999's version goes from cold to warm, where the other one goes from loud to quiet. And then when he's like, "I'm gonna help Annie! Everybody! I have a job for each of you to find Annie's parents!" Where with this one, he's much more like, contemporary businessman, like, okay, I'm going to call my contacts, I'm going to get the FBI involved, whereas the other...
Well, and you can see the hurt.
It's true.
In Victor Garber's. He is like, I really wanted this kid.
He's a much better emotional actor.
Yes, holy crap, Victor Garber's a good emotional actor.
You feel bad for him. Whereas, like, with the other War-bucks, he's more just like, he takes his hurt and instead he's like, I choose not to feel hurt. Instead, I'm going to be loud and attack this problem.
Yeah, this one is more vulnerable.
Yeah, and it's different too because he has opened himself up to show love to this child, and then this child effectively has rejected him.
Yes.
And so he has that hurt of like, oh.
Yeah, and his talking about being an orphan, he gets a little bit more vulnerable in that moment. It's not so matter of fact. He's very vulnerable in opening up that he was an orphan too. And he very much too, he doesn't like go, and then I did this, and then I did this, and then I did this. It's very much like I was an orphan, my parents died, and he kind of lets it trail a little bit before going on to, because you can see that he has emotions. Mm-hmm. And that's something I like better about this War-bucks, is that he does show a little bit more of a range than...
And, and I'm thinking about kind of what you talked about with being bombastic and stuff like that, and being Flanderized. That War-bucks in 82 is that too. Like, that's his thing. He's loud, he's an authoritative businessman, and just like Hannigan, he is just to the extreme as his character. Whereas Victor's War-bucks is much more realistic.
Yes.
Is much more down to earth, is much more relatable.
Yeah. And it's so interesting to see that with theater actors. Then again, I think Victor Garber did do a little bit more film acting too, but it's just interesting to see all these people who I at least personally know more through Broadway than through film, versus people who I knew more through film than through Broadway.
Yeah, fair.
Acting completely different from what I would have expected.
Well put. Okay, so War-bucks is like, I'm gonna help you find your parents, Annie. Annie then goes to her rich room to write to all the kids at the orphanage about War-bucks helping her find her parents, and she sings a little bit. Back at War-bucks in his office, he's sitting, being sad that Annie doesn't want him for a daddy. And it's like what you're talking about. It's a really good, quiet scene. Because he's sitting in his chair, and the way they have the camera, the shot, he's got his arm out a bit, and he's just holding the dangling necklace. And I couldn't tell. Was it Annie's broken necklace or the new one?
I couldn't tell either. Okay.
Regardless, it still carries the same emotion.
Yeah.
Because it's Annie. He's basically holding a piece of Annie in his hand, wantingly kind of thing. And there's the fire in the background. It's a really good shot because you can tell that you don't even see his face, but you can tell that he's upset, that he's sad.
Yes.
And it's a good shot. Good job. But back at the orphanage, the kids are singing that the "You're never fully dressed without a smile" song. I know that's wrong. But how about you break off a piece for us, Kay?
You're never fully dressed without a smile.
There we go. That's what it's like when a competent person sings. They're singing that song and listening to Annie on the radio, and they hear about the $50,000 reward for her parents to come and claim their child. And the kids in the orphanage do a great dance number, and they're all just fucking adorable.
Right.
The orphanage kids in this are better than the other ones. Nothing against those kids, but I think it's also because there were so fucking many in the 82 version, where there is just a handful in this version. So
and it's a mixed group.
And it is a mixed group, and you're able to get more time with the group.
Yes.
And so it's I just feel like that the 99 version the ensemble is better.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
So Hannigan comes in and is like, what the fuck is all the joy about? You're orphans. You have no reason to be happy. No one loves you. Stop smiling. And the kids are like,
Hannigan, we're here to give you the idea for your evil plan by telling you the War-bucks is offering a fuck ton of Depression-era dollars for Annie's parents.
and Hannigan tells them to get out of her office and go to bed without dinner. After the kids leave, Rooster and Hotel show up to be like, hey, has this evil plan, and we want to show you how evil we are. I'm even gonna pull out my knife and insinuate that I'm gonna kill Annie after we get that money. 'Cause again, Disney has no problem with this implication of child moida, but Hannigan being a drunken whore is completely out of the question. And apparently a black assistant marrying her white boss is too. Yay, Disney!
Fuck Disney, man.
So back at the War-bucks Manor, a horde of people claiming to be Annie's parents show up to lie and give sob stories, but none mention the locket or the letter and are phonies. Annie gets sad, but doesn't give up hope, and War-bucks sings a song and dances with Annie and tells her that he loves her and he wants to adopt her, and she's like,
well, it sucks to suck, I guess. I want my real parents.
And War-bucks says that Annie is the pearl to his oyster, but poetic and shit. And Annie says that if she can't have her real parents, she'll want to be his daughter.
And I actually really like that song, but it also is because dad feelings. But
well, and again, Victor is very good at being, emotional, and like his transition is more loving and not so much quiet. It's the more loving, and he does a great job.
And I'm sitting here thinking about it because at first I was like, I wish that this song was in the '82 version. But I don't think Albert Finney could have done it.
Again, like his stuff, because when he sings, and I'm even thinking about the I Don't Need Anyone But You song later, and I think about the whole like,
I'm poor as a mouse.
I'm richer than Midas. Like he does the loud parts really good, but he doesn't do the emotional, vulnerable parts well.
Yeah, and that vulnerability is one of my favorite things in the transformation of Daddy War-bucks, more so than loud to quiet, is the cold and distant to warm and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And Victor Garber does such a fucking good job. Holy fuck.
He absolutely does.
And that song is one of those ones that I have trouble with sometimes because it makes me feel feelings. But
feelings,
and I don't want to feel feelings all the time, but god damn, it's a good song, and when it's done well, it's done really well. From just the small examples I've seen. Okay, so after Annie says she'll be his daughter, I guess, War-bucks is giddy like a schoolboy and is like, let's blow the roof off this bitch, and tells Grace to organize a massive Christmas party. And Annie and War-bucks sing the I Don't Need Anyone But You song. And it's very good in this. And even if I cannot see War-bucks as not being Lex Luthor in this version. Like, I liked the gruff, always yelling version of War-bucks from 1982. And I do like this version as well. But I just can't not see Victor as a villain in this. I look at him and I'm just like, no, Annie, run, get Lois Lane, tell her to get Superman. Lex Luthor's gonna do something bad to you. You're just being adopted as part of his evil plan to harness the love of an orphan for his Superman killing laser. Run! Like, I can't help it. The heart of a forsaken child?
Yeah, exactly. I need to get an orphan to love me so that I can cut out their still beating heart and put it in my new Superman killing robot. Like, it's just, I see that with him. And I think part of that is because of how good of an actor Victor is, that when I look at him and I don't trust him because he's bald, I get the feeling of just like, you're up to something. What are you trying to do, bald man? You want to do something with this child. I don't believe you actually love them. I don't get this.
There's a new shirt. I don't trust you because you're bald.
Don't trust bald people. Warren, tone deaf. July 26th, 2021. Anyways, the judge comes in after the song to be like, I'm here to proceed over your adoption. And before things can begin, the butler comes in to be like, Sir, 2 con people are here to lie about Annie and present false evidence and steal your money and murder the child. Shall I show them in, sir? And he does, and we get a far... Okay, I don't know if you and I are going to disagree on this, but I'm totally open to it. We get a far less convincing performance in this version, and I do not believe for a minute that Annie would not recognize Hannigan in this disguise. I could believe it more in the other version because it was 2 people Annie had no way of ever knowing or seeing at any point. But come on, she's lived with Hannigan her whole life.
Yeah.
This is dumb. Minus 10 points from Gryffindor.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree, because it's one of those things where you recognize things about people. And
body language, demeanor. And the thing, too, is it's just like, come on, she's wearing a wig. It's not
and
like
that's it.
It's not like her face looks any different. She has glasses on, and she's covering it with a hanky, but she's, like, also looking,
Yeah.
And there's times that the 2 make eye contact.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know how Annie... And Annie does... It is obvious that Annie gets vibes. You can tell.
She gets vibes.
But at the same time, it's like,
I don't want to go with these people. They mean me bad. They mean me harm.
Yeah, and it's like, it's where the whole thing hinges on the locket with this. Because without the locket, then there's no reason for Annie to trust this. Because as far as Annie knows, Miss Hannigan doesn't have the other half of the locket. And that's the only way that this is even the slightest bit believable. That Annie would go with her.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like, nah, you were abused every day for 11 years by a person. You recognize their face.
Well, and they're rougher with Annie when they're trying to, like, lead her away, whereas Tim Curry and Bernadette Peters, they were much better at faking that gentleness, that, oh my gosh, we're so happy to see you. They were much better at doing that and, like, quietly and softly trying to escort her out.
Yeah.
Whereas the others are just like death grip, like, come on, Annie!
And that's where, if Bernadette Peters Lily was the Lily in this one,
Annie would be dead.
Annie would be dead.
Annie would be dead, and the trio would be in Atlantic City, living on Easy Street.
Yes.
Well, actually, no. They probably would have blown all their money in, like, a couple of months and then be, I don't know.
Yeah, they would be right back to where they started.
But,
But there would be a dead Annie.
There would be a dead
Everything...
But there would be a dead Annie. There would be one less orphan in the world.
That's everything hinges on that Lily actor.
Yeah.
With it, because because otherwise, if you have a competent Lily St. Regis who isn't an airhead, then you have the whole
I
plan.
didn't even mention it. She had that voice, and that I can, for some reason, do very, very well. And I am very uncomfortable with how well I can do this voice.
And I'm not saying that Kirsten Chenoweth's Lily St. Regis is incompetent. It's more that the way that they have her act, the character, is an airhead.
Yeah, so she's an airhead character.
Yeah, she can't be used in this charade.
She can't be used in the charade because she's bad at deceit and she can't play the part and she keeps fumbling the lines. Yeah. And so that's the thing. That's why it's Hannigan doing it.
Bernadette Peters one, you see her immediately from the get-go being like, and I'm stealing shit and I'm doing a good job with it and I've got this whole routine down and I'm actually a lot smarter than I look. Whereas the Kirsten Chenoweth one is an idiot.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so after the far less convincing performance, as the lying liars who lie try to take Annie, War-bucks is like, well, I'd like to have Annie spend Christmas with us, so you can pick up your dirty, dirty blood money in the morning. and Annie, let's see. Pick up your dirty, dirty blood money and Annie in the morning.
Your 30 pieces of silver.
Her fake
Wrong movie.
Yeah, her fake parents leave, and after getting a toast from War-ther-bucks and his group to Annie, like to Annie Mudge or whatever, Annie runs upstairs and cries in her very comfy and elaborate rich person room, and she gets sung to by Grace, and Grace sings the Tomorrow song, and does a great job, yeah. And I'm sitting here like, Annie, you don't have to go! You really don't! They left you at an orphanage and you're being adopted. You do not have to go with the creepy people who give you bad vibes. Because that's the thing, you see the discomfort in Annie's face in this version, where in the other one it's more just like disbelief, like, like, you're not what I pictured, but like, oh, okay. Where in this one she's just like, I get real bad vibes, dude.
And Sandy is just like...
Yeah. Anyways, the next morning, the lying liars who lie show up and are super fucking suspicious. Like, fuck, are they suspicious? This version falls so flat and so... just so not as good compared to the 1982 version in this part. For me. This is where the version really starts to fall apart. Yeah. So Hotel got stuck watching the orphanage while the Hannigans go do their con. And Hotel ends up spilling the con beans to the orphans, who are like, let's go save Annie! And they do. When the lying liars who lie are trying to leave with the money, Hotel shows up to be like,
I'm here to make sure you don't ditch out on me and make me take the fall for your schemes, Rooster.
And the con siblings try to make a break for it, but get caught. And then there's this part with Hannigan pleading her case to Annie, being all, tell him how good I've always been to you. Tell him how good I do for you. Do it, tell them. And Annie gives a reprise of the line from earlier with the one thing you always taught us was not to lie. And Hannigan calls Annie a gold digger. And blah, blah, blah. And the bad guys get arrested. The president tells Annie that her parents are dead, and the president says he's going to make sure that all the orphans get adopted by good families.
Merry Christmas, Annie. You're an orphan.
You're an orphan, Annie.
Merry fucking Christmas.
And all the orphans hug the president, and they go and open presents under the tree. War-ther-bucks proposes to Grace, and the happy family sings the I don't need anything but you song. And then the end. Roll credits.
And I agree with you on the ending. The ending does fall flat in this one because it's almost like they went, oh shit, we only have 20 minutes.
That's exactly right. It's kind of like they were directing, they're like, shit, guys, we really only have 20 minutes to cram 40 minutes worth of script.
And unfortunately, it also ends up taking out another good song from the stage version, because the last song in the stage version is different than what it is in this.
What is it?
It's called New Deal for Christmas, and it's a very fun little song with FDR and the orphans, and it's
we're gonna put you to work in the national parks, digging roads and making trails.
And it's just...
I just pictured a bunch of orphans in Yellowstone and like Penny getting taken away by a bear, like
Duffy falls into prismatic spring.
Yeah, one of them gets butted by a bison and goes flying into a hot spring. I'm a horrible person and I'm okay with it.
I feel bad for the hot spring, though, because that throws off the bacterial balance. But
lousy orphan, corrupting the microbiology of the environment. God.
Deaths in Yellowstone, Chapter 1. Anyway, the ending is rushed, and that's where because I agree, it does fall apart at that ending, because you have all these really nice moments leading up to it, and then the ending just kind of is meh.
Yeah, it's kind of a cascading series of events that are really shoehorned into a single room.
Yeah.
Like, rather than them taking parts and taking place in different areas. It's really just this one main room.
Yeah.
And when the bad guys being suspicious as fuck when they show up, because they're very much like, come on, Annie, come on, let's go. You got the check, you got the money, give me the money. Come on, Annie.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite like that, but it's
closer to that. Like,
and you're just sitting here, whereas it's just so much better in the other version because they do the whole like, hi, we're your parents, and then War-bucks takes them aside, and Annie is getting ready to leave and stuff, and then the family comes back and takes Annie out, and they do the much better, oh, come on, Annie, we're so happy we found you, They're better at being quiet and manipulative, where these guys are just like, holy shit, I hope they don't know that we're lying. Shit, did we say that out loud?
Yeah, and again, if you would have kept Lily if you would have had Bernadette Peters Lily, Annie would be dead.
Annie would be dead.
And that's the lesson that we take away from the two different Annies.
Yeah.
Is Bernadette Peters Lily could have led to Annie
dead
dying.
Annie. Yeah.
Because, like, with Tim Curry's, I don't know, I feel like Tim Curry's rooster is too explosive to make things actually work. Yeah, at the end. He is too explosive to make it work.
But because of his con man stuff, he's really good when he's in the con.
Yeah, but as soon as it falls apart,
and that's when you get the whole Carol Burnett being like, oh no, he's gonna kill Annie, and she has her one moment of, like, moral clarity.
Yeah, which I do like that Kathy Bates, Miss Hannigan, also gets hers, because it's like, nah, she needs to go away for a long time.
No. Yeah, she needs to go away. Absolutely.
That is one thing that I never liked about the 82 version is that she gets off.
Not only does she get off, but Punjab probably gets her off too.
Yeah. And I don't like that. Whereas with this, it's like, nah, the bad guys are all wrapped up. People get their comeuppance. Yeah. Somewhat literally for Miss Hannigan as she gets straight jacketed out. But it's I don't know, it's very interesting. If they had more than just an hour and a half, I feel like the ending could have been...
They could have paced
more
better.
solid.
Yeah, I agree with that. And
just judging from how the beginning is.
Yeah, that's fair. And one thing that I do kind of want to talk about very briefly is that I am very glad to see multiple versions of the same show. Because I take away different things from each version, and I really like it, because there were things that I liked about the 82 version, and there are things I like about the 1999 version. I don't find either version to be perfect in any regards, but I enjoy seeing different representations, and it makes me excited again to watch the 2014 version, because I already, I remember enjoying that one, but again, to see yet another version, another representation in its own ecosystem, its own universe with its own differences. And I like that. I really like that aspect of our show, when we get to see multiple versions of the same thing. You look like you're about to cry.
You've just made me the happiest person in the world. I knew there was a reason that we were meant for each other. Oh my God.
I kid you guys not. As I'm talking, I'm watching tears well in Kay's eyes. Wow.
Because that's why I love theater. It's different every time. Oh my God, I love you.
I love you.
You just made me the happiest non-binary in the world.
Oh. And here I thought marriage was the answer.
Well, that too.
I'll take that ring back, thanks.
Oh my God.
But yeah. So why don't we? Yeah. So I think we should wrap up and
absolutely.
Next week's gonna be the 2014 version.
Yes.
And I'm actually excited to hear about some of the pre-production stuff with that one.
Absolutely. And I'll try not to go into the internet comments on that one, because it'll make us angry.
God damn it. Just.
Could you imagine if the internet had been the way it was in 99 for this one, though?
I'm gonna bite my tongue. Because I want to go back to Twitter eventually, and I need to be better about being less confrontational with fucking Nazis because bite that tongue.
Someday, Twitter will get its head out of its ass and be like, you know what? No, you're right. Fuck Nazis.
You know, I agree. Freedom of speech, except for you fucking assholes. Anyways.
But yeah, no, next week, gonna be hitting the 2014 version, and we'll see which version is the best Annie to Warren.
Depending on how long that episode is, we'll try and do well, actually, we'll have to. I don't think we'll be able to do a fourth episode that's a recap of all three. I think we'll just
we'll just do it in the next one so that we can move on to more musicals, because boy, we have a lot of musicals.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot that exist, and the fact that you are okay seeing multiple versions of things seriously made my fucking day.
Yay!
I can get into it off mic about why that made my fucking day, but
I got bonus husband points.
You did get bonus husband points.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for listening.
Yes.
If you'd like to reach out to Kay and myself, you can do so at our home base, which is tonedeafmusical.com. There we have links to all of our social medias, our Instagrams, our Facebooks, our Twitters, as well as a link to the Cast Junkie Discord server where we have our own Not Safe for Work channel. Please come in and talk to us and say, what's your favorite version of Annie?
Yeah, what is your favorite version of Annie? And if you would like to help out the show, you can do so by going to iTunes, Podchaser, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts, and leaving a 5-star review. Those really help us out with moving up the charts, getting more views on us. Share us around. If you're sharing us with friends and family, though, please be sure to let them know that our show is explicit.
After episode 24.
After episode 24, it gets explicit.
Well, no. On episode 24.
Yeah, that's right.
Spider-Man is the one that broke me.
Yeah, Spider-Man broke Warren. But the Black Theater History episodes, those ones can be shared with everybody. But, just warn people.
I have the show I want to introduce you to, but I gotta warn you.
I gotta warn you. There's Richard humor. Yes, he gets killed off, but his ghost lingers on.
Like an STD. You may not see him, but he's still there.
If you want to go above and beyond, you can do so by going to our Patreon, which is Tone Deaf Musical. You can also go to our TeePublic, where you can get t-shirts, masks. Please get masks.
Yeah. You know what? Kay and I are both vaccinated, and we still wear masks.
Yeah, because my immune system is that of a newborn kitten. So... So, protect folks like me out there who, even though we're vaccinated, we're still fucking scared.
Mm-hmm.
But, wear a mask. Be safe out there. Thank you all again so much for listening. That'll be it for this week. I'm Kay.
I'm Warren.
And this has been Tone Deaf. And then I need to figure out a way to get more Audra McDonald into our life, because a lot of the shows that she's in aren't bootleg. So that's the only way I can get them.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said they aren't bootleg.
They're bootleg ones, and then
just another example that when the show is done having a run on Broadway, they need to just fucking film like the last production or something.
Yeah.
And make it available.
Oh my god,
for people to watch.
If they would film closing nights of shows, those are some of the most electric nights. Broadway. Film the closing nights of all the shows.
Come on, guys.
Those are the most electric.
Pull your heads out. Not everybody can make it to New York to see a show.